If you've ever been in a difficult conversation, you'll know there is always emotion involved. And it is typically that emotion that stands between you and a viable solution to the problem that you're both facing. It's the quintessential elephant in the room. Today, we're examining the specific skill of naming the emotion. Naming the emotion is probably the most basic means of expressing empathy. It involves simply noting the emotion and saying it. In its simplest form, it might sound something like this. You're angry. You're disappointed. You're upset. When used with the appropriate tone and body language, the simple use of just 2 words like this can convey enormous empathy. And yet there are ways to layer in even more skill. The first thing to recognise is that we can never know for sure what's going on inside another person. We can only guess. And we're definitely going to get it wrong at least some of the time. And if we do get it wrong, we want to make it safe for the other person to be able to correct us. Otherwise, the risk is that if you do get it wrong, and yet you've been quite concrete in what you've said, you might find that they become actually more defensive.
Oh, you think I'm angry, do you? Well, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Which is kind of the opposite of what you're hoping for. So why not make it clear that we're actually just guessing? We can do this by reducing the amount of certainty in our observation. And my favourite way to do this is by using the words, it seems like, or it sounds like, or it looks like, or I get the sense that. I stole these phrases from a guy called Chris Voss, the author of Never Split the Difference. Chris is an ex-FBI agent and hostage negotiator, and he's got some great things to say about how to have difficult conversations. For example, seems like you're angry, or looks like you're frustrated, or I get the sense that you're upset. Now, if you're wrong, they have a little space to correct you, and if you're right, it's going to be actually just a little bit safer for them to agree with you. How could we increase this safety buffer even more? One way is to frame their emotion as the natural response that any normal person would have, given the situation. We call this normalising or normalising for the population. How might this sound? You know, most people, if they were in your position, they'd be angry. You can make this statement even more powerful by increasing the degree of emotion that we would consider normal under the circumstances. You know, most people, if they were in your position, they'd be out of their minds with rage. Have a little think about how someone might respond to this. They've basically got 2 options. They might say,
Actually, I am a bit angry. What happened to me was really unfair.
Or they might say,
Well, actually, I'm not that angry. I'm just a bit worried, to be honest.
in other words, by normalising their response and raising the level of emotion that you might expect under the circumstances, you've actually made it safe for them to own the emotion that they're feeling. Now, whether they arrive at that place as a result of agreeing with you or disagreeing with you, the point is not to get it right every time. The point is to show that you're trying. You're trying to understand them. And as they clock the fact that you're genuinely trying to understand them, and it's valid and reasonable to be feeling the way that they are feeling, the intensity of their emotional state will start to melt away. Do these things and you'll be cooling those amygdalas in no time. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found this useful. If you've got any suggestions, feedback, requests, put them in the comments section below. I'll see you in the next video.